The United Nations operation in Côte d'Ivoire is a peacekeeping mission whose objective is to facilitate the implementation by the Ivorian parties of the peace agreement signed by them in January 2003. The two main Ivorian parties here are the Ivorian Government forces who control the south of the country, and the new forces who control the north. The UNOCI mission aims to control a zone of confidence across the center of the country separating the two parties. The head of mission and special representative of the Secretary-General is Aïchatou Mindaoudou Souleymane from Niger. She has succeeded Bert Koenders from the Netherlands in 2013, who himself succeeded Choi Young-jin from South Korea in 2011. History. The mission was authorized by Security Council Resolution 1528 on 27 February 2004 to take over from MANUCI from 4 April 2004. The mandate was subsequently extended several times, including the 31st of October 2008, the 31st of January 2010, the 27th of May 2010, the 20th of December 2010, and most recently on the 27th of July 2011. In February 2006, following an appeal by UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan, the United Nations Security Council agreed to strengthen the UNOCI forces by sending a battalion from United Nations mission in Liberia with 800 soldiers to Ivory Coast. As of November 2006, the mission consisted of about 8,000 uniformed soldiers from a total of 41 countries. They have included, from the Bangladeshi Army, 56th and 57th Battalions, East Bengal Regiment. They were deployed alongside 4,000 French soldiers of the Operation Licorne intervention. On the 29th of July 2008, the day before UNOCI's mandate was set to expire, the UN Security Council unanimously voted to extend its mandate to the 31st of January 2009 so that the peacekeepers could support the organization of free, open, fair and transparent elections. A presidential election is planned for 2009, after numerous delays arising from post-war issues. In January 2006, supporters of President Laurent Gbagbo attacked the base of the United Nations peacekeepers after the Ivorian Popular Front withdrew from the Ivorian Civil War peace process. About 1,000 protesters invaded the UN base at Guiglo. In the aftermath of the 2010 presidential election, incumbent President Gbagbo said UNOCI troops should leave the country. However, the UN refused to do so, upon which Gbagbo's aides then said UN troops would be treated as rebels should they stay in the country, where they are protecting the internationally recognized though domestically disputed winner of the election. On the 30th of March, United Nations Security Council Resolution 1975 was issued, which, in particular, urged all Ivorian parties to respect the will of the people and the election of Alassane Ouattara as President of Ivory Coast, as recognized by the Economic Community of West African States, the African Union and the rest of the international community, and reiterated that UNOCI could use all necessary measures in its mandate to protect civilians under imminent threat of attack. Heavy fighting broke out on the 31st of March 2011 as forces of Alassane Ouattara advanced on Abidjan from several directions. The United Nations peacekeepers took control of Abidjan's airport when Gbagbo's forces abandoned it, and United Nations forces were also reported to be carrying out protective security operations in the city. The UN peacekeeping mission said its headquarters were fired on by Gbagbo's special forces on the 31st of March, and returned fire in an exchange lasting about 3 hours. UN convoys have also come under attack by Gbagbo loyalists 4 times since the 31st of March, with 3 peacekeepers injured in one of the attacks. The peacekeepers had exchanged fire with Gbagbo loyalists in several parts of the city. On the 4th of April 2011, UN and French helicopters also began firing on pro-Gbagbo military installations. A French military spokesman said the attacks were aimed at heavy artillery and armored vehicles. Eyewitnesses reported seeing 2 UN Mi-24P attack helicopters firing missiles at the Aïchatou military camp in Abidjan. UN helicopters were flown by Ukrainian ground forces crews seconded to the United Nations. The attacks sparked protests by Gbagbo spokesperson, who said that such actions were illegal, illegitimate and unacceptable. UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon defended the actions, however, saying that the mission has taken this action in self-defense and to protect civilians. Quote, he noted that Gbagbo's forces had fired on United Nations patrols and attacked the organization's headquarters in Abidjan with heavy caliber sniper fire as well as mortars and rocket-propelled grenades, wounding 4 peacekeepers. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that Russia intends to look into the legitimacy of the use of force by UN peacekeepers. The position of the Russian government was that any foreign interference would only lead to increasing violence. On the 9th of April, pro-Gbagbo forces were reported to have fired on the Gulf Hotel, where Ouattara was located. The attackers reportedly used both sniper rifles and mortars. In response, UN peacekeepers fired on them. The following day, United Nations and French forces carried out further airstrikes against Gbagbo's remaining heavy weapons, using Mi-24 and aerospatial Gazelle attack helicopters. The attack was reported to have caused heavy damage to the presidential palace. On the 11th of April, Ouattara's forces stormed Gbagbo's residence and arrested him. The final assault was assisted by French forces using helicopters and armored vehicles, although the actual capture was made by Ouattara's troops. Gbagbo, his wife, son and about 50 members of his entourage were captured unharmed and were taken to the Gulf Hotel, Ouattara's headquarters, where they were placed under United Nations guard. Casualties. A total of 72 UN personnel have died during UNOCI, including 54 UN peacekeeping troops. On the 8th of June 2012, 7 Niger soldiers, 8 locals and 1 or 2 Ivorian soldiers were killed in an attack near the village of Tai in the southwestern region of the country. As a result of the attack, thousands of villagers fled from the area. The deaths were suspected to have occurred as a result of a border-crossing ambush by a Liberian militia. Secretary-General of the United Nations Ban Ki-moon said he was saddened and outraged by the deaths. Ban urged the Ivorian government to identify the perpetrators and hold them accountable. Ivorian Defense Minister Paul Kofi said that soldiers must go to the other side of the border to establish a security zone. Liberian Information Minister Louis Brown said that President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had ordered the immediate deployment of forces to the border, in response to the attack. Forces, on the 30th of April 2012, to 10,954 total uniformed personnel, including 9,404 troops, 200 military observers, 1,350 police, 400 international civilian personnel, 758 local staff and 290 United Nations volunteers. The force commander is Major General Hafiz Masroor Ahmed from Pakistan. The police commissioner is Major General Jean-Marie Burry from France. Force commanders Abdoulaye Fall, April 2004 April 2006. Fernand Marcel Amorsou, April 2006 March 2010. Abdul Hafiz, April 2010 March 2011. Nakoud Berena, March 2011 May 2012. Mohammed Iqbal SI, May 2012 the 19th of May 2014. Hafiz Masroor Ahmed, the 19th of May 2014 present.